kaa kwako, kwa sababu ukijitahadhari vile vile hata mimi sitakuwa na ajali na tutaishi vizuri sasa na kesho, kwa sababu COVID-19 ipo, lakini ni sisi tu ambao tutaiondoa katika nchi yetu, eneo letu na dunia nzima.
Kitubio au upatanisho. Sakramenti ya kitubio ndiyo sakramenti ya kuondolea watu dhambi walizotenda baada ya ubatizo. Sakramenti ya kitubio pia huitwa sakramenti ya upatanisho, ipo katika fungu la sakramenti za uponyaji. Kuna sakramenti mbili za uponyaji, kitubio na mpako mtakatifu wa wagonjwa. Dhumuni haswa la sakramenti ya uponyaji ni kuzirejeshea uhai roho zetu pale zinapougua kwa kutenda dhambi. Yesu ndiye tabibu mkuu wa roho zetu, naye yu tayari kututibu kila tunapougua.
Kupata kitubio kama skiza tuni yako, tuma neno skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100273 kwa 811. Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
A very warm good morning and welcome to this live talk show on Capuchin TV with me, Sasha Elizabeth. Now, we have been witnessing horrendous acts of violence, homicides, suicide, drug abuse, and all forms of assault in our streets, in our homes, and the society in general. And we ask ourselves, what could this be? Could it be linked to PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder? Today, we are going to talk more on this medical disorder that is of great concern and continues really to raise eyebrows day by day. Last Friday, we introduced this subject, post-traumatic stress disorder, and we made you to understand what it really is, the different types of PTSD, and of course the signs and symptoms, and the available therapy for the people who are undergoing this kind of disorder. Now today, this morning, as I mentioned before, we will make sure that we give you more information on this, because it is really a wide and a broad subject that really require a lot of attention. And in studio with me is Father Ndolo Francis. Father, welcome.
Thank you, Sasha.
Please tell our viewer a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Okay, thank you. My name is Reverend Father Francis Ndolo, from the Catholic Diocese of Kitui, Kitui County.
It's good to have you.
Thank you. I'm a parish priest there at a parish called St. Andrew's Parish, Kwavonza. And I also do counseling as part of my pastoral work and also aside.
Welcome.
Yeah, professional counseling.
Thank you for making time to have this candid conversation. Now, and my name is Sasha Elizabeth, and just to a pop-up question, do you have a friend or a loved one who is been having maybe episodes, a very drastic behavior, or just a change in the way they act? Are they being, some of the signs we'll get to here just briefly. I'll ask Father to just mention, because we already did that in our previous episode. But how can they find help? Could it be linked to PTSD? That's what we are talking today. Get in touch with us and be part of this conversation by calling us on 0717-424-866. You can also drop your comments, questions, and feedback on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. On Twitter and Facebook, you can hashtag Capuchin TV, hashtag Sasha Elizabeth, hashtag PTSD. So welcome, and let's talk PTSD. So Father, to start with, I know there are those who must have watched our previous episodes, and there are those who haven't watched it before. Could you please, for the sake of those who are watching us for the first time, or watching this particular segment for the first time, tell them what simply what PTSD is?
Thank you, Sasha. PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a disorder, it's a mental health problem, it's a psychological problem, in many ways also physiological. And it's a problem that comes after somebody goes through a traumatic event, or what we call a stressor, a major stressor. Maybe the person went through a traumatic event and survived. Could be an accident, road accident, could be a natural disaster like floods or wildfire or landslide. The person went through that, or witnessed somebody else going through that, or got news, the sad news that a relative or a friend went through that. Or this is somebody who has listened to a lot of traumatic incidences, or people going through traumatic instances, being told of the details again and again and again. Somebody who goes through, who is exposed to traumatic events in those fashions, then they react, their body reacts, their mind reacts, and therefore their behavior also is affected. The way they think, the way they behave, and the way they feel inside. Now, those feelings and those changed thoughts and the behavior collected together, if it fits the criteria we have, then that's what we call PTSD. So for somebody to have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, they have to meet certain criteria, certain symptoms. They have to exhibit certain symptoms. Well, of course, the first thing is for somebody to have been exposed to a traumatic event in the ways I've said, directly or indirectly.
All right, so now, simply put, we can say that it's failure to recover after witnessing or experiencing a traumatic event.
Yes, many people, when they go through that, that is, they survive these horrific instances, or they get to know that their very loved one, but somebody very close has undergone that, or they have been hearing these details. For example, nurses and doctors and police, they see these things. They see, they just look at that and see somebody who is dying, somebody who is deformed because of an accident, or is burned very, very badly, or somebody has been pulled out from a very dangerous situation like flooding and is brought to the hospital. So they see all the way the person looks and all the details of what happened. Or the police doing investigation. They hear this person was raped, this person was cut into pieces. Hearing those details is an exposure.
When they visit the crime scene.
Yes, that is exposure also. And so people react. And when they react, then those reactions are the ones we call PTSD.
All right. So now, how does it present in the family context and workplace?
Right. You remember last time Friday we did say that there are 4 clusters of PTSD. We talked about re-experiencing symptoms. That is, symptoms or reactions that look like the person. Say, for example, it's a month since the accident happened, or since the person, witnessed this horrific experience. But the person is still having or behaving as if that incident is occurring now. They will have flashbacks. They will be seeing pictures, images, intrusive images of the incidents, or they will have nightmares. At night of the experience, they will be sweating. They will be trembling, as if the incident is happening. So there's that cluster of symptoms called re-experiencing. So the other one is there will be hyper-arousal, hyper-arousal as opposed to hypo-arousal, or reactivity, where the person is reacting as if the experience is before them. They are very keyed up. They are very alert. They cannot concentrate on anything else except this. Their heart is pounding. They are sweating. They cannot concentrate, and they cannot sleep. you know. Then the other cluster is avoidance symptoms, where the person doesn't want to talk about the incidents at all, avoids people, avoids places, avoids things that they associate with the experience. So, for example, if somebody was pulled out of a fire in a house, they will be very, very, very hesitant in getting to the same house. They will, when say, for example, they see big fire, they will be very reactive to that, you know. They will start sweating, trembling, and wanting to go away, you know. So avoidance symptoms. They will not like to talk about to talk about the incident. They don't want to narrate the incident. They don't want to feel the way they felt. They numb. They don't want they numb such that they don't remember a lot of details from the incident. These are ways to protect oneself. Then, lastly, we said people will react by changing their cognition, changing their mood. The mood will be changed and their cognitions will change. So the view of themselves, the view of the world, and the view of everything in their life will change. And this is where somebody changes such that it's like their personality has changed a lot, because how they look at other people, how they look at the world, how they look at themselves, and everything changes, and their mood becomes very moving up and down, especially low mood, like depressive symptoms, you know. And those 4 clusters, that's how it presents itself. Of course, for diagnosis, you need to have at least one symptom from 2 of those clusters, and 2 symptoms from 2 of those clusters. Like changed cognition and mood, you need 2 symptoms. From hyperarousal, you need 2 symptoms. And then from avoidance, you need 1 symptom.
So avoidance, is it the same as withdrawal syndrome?
Symptoms, yeah, there will be withdrawals. So the person will not like to be where people are. They will try to isolate themselves. They will like to be very far from any possible danger, and that kind of a thing.
So this alters their social life and their well-being, their personal well-being, and self-contentment.
Correct. This is why it's important. Once we get this, when you go to different domains of that person's life. Say, for example, the person is a family person, right? It's a mother or a father in a family. The very fact that this person is having PTSD, is reacting in these manners, that will really affect the way the person interacts with the children, with the mother or the father and other family members. Because the person, we say, like for example, when you talk about the symptoms that have to do with hyperarousal, one of them is anger, outbursts of anger. All right, and then the person is in the family, then the person will be very difficult, almost impossible to deal with. Because a little thing, they are very angry, they are throwing things, they are almost beating people, they are threatening, tantrums like little babies,
Wow.
You know that. And then reckless behavior, you know, like drug abuse, very common among them. And you know, this is very painful. These experiences in going through with somebody's body and mind, they are very painful. So many people like to deal with that, to cope with this through drug abuse, so that they can feel better, you know. And then if somebody is having this and then he's abusing drugs in the family, you know, the usual problems when somebody is abusing drugs. Then there'll be a lot of discord, because this person is not seeing things the way, he's not able to think straight. The person is very disorganized. The person's grooming may change. The person may be suicidal. The person may be wanting sometimes to sleep a lot. But for PTSD, mostly somebody will be having very disturbed sleep. Can be making noise at night, maybe still up many hours after everybody has gone to sleep. You know, imagine what that can do to a family, you know. So those are some of the problems you can see there. Then workplace. This person, because they are not sleeping, there'll be absenteeism. Because they are drinking, they are not sleeping, they are having all these issues, change perceptions. And one of the perceptions is hope. You see, there's hopelessness, because one of the depressing symptoms is hopelessness. This person does not look at their job the way they used to. They are not as enthusiastic. They don't see their future as going to be bright and long and enjoyable. They look at their future as gloomy and short and that kind of a thing. So in their workplace, they may lack the enthusiasm, therefore affecting their performance, the output at work. Just like in the family, outburst of anger affecting his or her relationship with the other workers, and of course with the boss, and trouble that can come with that, sacking and all those kind of things. Then when it comes to their social life with the other members of society, because of this drug abuse, there is possible violence, those drums as you call them, the person is drinking and all those kind of things. Then the person, this person is changed, so and so is changed, the person has turned to be a very angry person, the person is isolating themselves, they're not as friendly as they used to be, they're drinking a little bit, so you see that you find that the social convoy of this particular person will change, and people will begin talking.
All right.
Something's wrong with our friend.
Okay, now, as you mentioned earlier, and during our first episode of this PTSD, no one is immune to this, because even the law enforcers, medics, teachers, people from all walks of life can experience traumatic incidents at one point in their lives. Yes. How does it manifest? Does it manifest differently among the young and the old, among people of different stature in society?
Now, when it comes to, is anybody immune? This is a mental disorder. This is a disease in the mental domain. So is anybody who is immune to malaria? Is anybody immune to typhoid and these other illnesses? Nobody. No. You come into contact with the malaria parasites, there you are. And because all these trauma-causing events are all over, accidents are happening all over, terrorist attacks are happening all over, fires in schools are happening all over, domestic violence is happening, people are assaulting each other, people are breaking into other people's houses, we're having floods. These are things that cause PTSD. Are they found in Kenya? Yes. Therefore, logically, there will be PTSD, and nobody is immune if you face that. Okay. But remember what you said. Not everybody who is exposed to traumatic experiences goes on to develop PTSD. Only 20 to 30% of people will end up developing PTSD. The other 70%, people will have disturbances for a short while of time, and they will be okay. They'll be okay. People are very resilient. Some people are very strong, and because of the way they are connected, the way they are created, the way they are wired, we say, or they are rich and very loving and warm social connections of family. They heal very quickly. But that other percentage will be stuck in this until they get help.
Thank you so much, Father Francis Ndolo. I'm told it is time to take a breather, but we'll be definitely back in a short while with more on PTSD. Stay tuned.
Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
St. Mary's Mission Hospital is committed to ensure that you are well and fit to perform your duties effectively, irrespective of your age or gender. We seek to be more proactive on your wellness as we roll out our wellness plans for different age brackets at amazingly affordable rates. For men above 50 years at 8,350 Kenyan shillings only, and women above 50 years at only 8,950, 5,700 shillings only for men below 50 years of age, 6,300 for women below the 50-year age bracket, and only 1,500 Kenyan shillings for teenagers. Get in touch with us on 0717 305 204 or 0207 851 300 or email us on info@stmmh.co.ke. St. Mary's Mission Hospital. Compassion in healthcare.
Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy. Hail our life and sweetness and our hope. To you do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To you do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, your eyes of mercy toward us, and after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of your womb, Jesus, O merciful, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary. Amen.
To get Hail Holy Queen, a Skiza tune, send Skiza followed by code 738-10258 and send it to 811. Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
All right, welcome back, dear viewer, and thank you so much for keeping tabs with us here on Capuchin TV. Today being a special day, special Tuesday morning, we bring you this topic on mental health, post-traumatic stress disorder. It is really a subject of great concern, especially right now that you're witnessing a lot of shocking incidents in our societies, people hacking each other to death, people committing suicide, assault and all that. So we bring you this conversation to make you understand what it really means to be healthy psychologically, and of course guide you on the best way to find help, because it's never like that so much complicated to an extent that you cannot find help. So in studio I have Father Francis Ndolo from the Catholic Diocese of Kitui. He is a counseling psychologist. Father, welcome to our second session.
Thank you.
Now maybe before we proceed in our first session, we can see Lazarus Anyega. Allow me to read some of the reactions, feedback from our social media platforms. Lazarus Anyega saying, watching live. Thank you, Lazarus, for watching. Rosilia Lihavi, good topic. Indeed, it is a good topic. And continue sending your feedback, your questions, and we'll be responding to them in real time. And if we happen to see them later, we can still get back to you with information. You can also inbox our team on 07, that's a direct line, 0717-424-866. Welcome back. Now, Father, before we went for a break, I had asked a question. Does PTSD present differently among the young people and the older?
Yes, there is a noticeable difference in reaction. Generally, what we have said is true for almost everybody. But when it comes to young people, 16 years and below, you find that it has been observed that the teenagers who react a little bit different. They will become very defiant, right? They will turn out to be a little bit violent, very angry and moody and all that kind of a thing. When we go to younger kids, you find that they regress in their it is like they have regressed in their age. You know children developmentally go through milestones. They are crawling, they start standing, they start walking. They are eating this food, then they get to harder food and that kind of a thing. mentally and psychologically the same. They master now, instead of soiling themselves when they need to go and help themselves, instead of soiling themselves, they now know how to go to the toilet or outside or something like that. But when they are exposed to PTSD, they tend to regress. It's like they go back, and it's like they have not learned some of the things. So you find them struggling with things that they have already mastered. So the regress is like they regress in age, their behavior. So you find the child becomes very clingy, doesn't want to be left for a second by the parent or caregiver. You find that they begin to wet in their bed. This reminds me, one time I was helping little ones in a primary school, and that went and undergone very horrific road accident, and several of their colleagues died. And when I went to do some briefing there, I remembered a warning. The matron and all those other people who were there in school, especially who take care of the dormitory sleeping areas, telling them now, watch out, there will be more bedwetting than usual. And certainly that's what they reported. And this is bedwetting by very mature children who are who are never known to be bedwetting. Then they will also begin some of the children will, younger ones, they are not able to verbalize or to really understand what is happening. But they will be affected. And so it will show in the way they play. When they are playing, they will start dramatizing, acting out the trauma. So for example, if it is because of abuse, so maybe physical abuse or sexual abuse or beatings and things like that, if that's what they have witnessed or gone through, they will start, you find them, when they are playing, they're using sticks. That could be a panga. They are using other things, maybe that's a gun. And they are hitting things, they are hitting doors, or they may even want to hit other children, that kind of a thing. They will dramatize. When it comes to drawing, for example, they will start drawing scenes. If it's a car accident, they will draw a car upside down. Or, if there are people, you see they have drawn people with a lot of blood in their faces or whatever. Or people missing arms and things like that. So there will be that. So that's very good for a parent, a caretaker, or a counselor to know, because they will observe this strange behavior and they will be able to put it in its own place to tell them something is happening in the life of this child or has already happened in the life of this child.
So is the healing process different among the young and the old?
I would say my clinical experience is that younger people tend to, with help, tend to get over this faster. Their brain is very elastic, and therefore can change, is malleable, can be manipulated very easily. So I find, for example, if it's, say, for example, a child has, a 10-year-old or 14-year-old has PTSD, it's very easy for a counselor to turn around that child, to heal that child, than a mature person. It may take a little bit. Maybe that talks about the elasticity I'm talking about. Or maybe again, some of the disturbances that we have are because of what we think, our interpretation of what this means for me. Mature people can make very long or far-fetched interpretations of what is happening to them. Kids, not very far, just maybe in the immediate life that they know about, and that helps. That makes a whole difference when you start turning them around vis-a-vis an adult.
Thank you so much, Father Francis. Now, could you please tell us what complex PTSD is and what are the pointers of complex PTSD?
So this is a subtype of PTSD. That is now a lot of research is going on into this, because it's a little bit different from PTSD. Most of the symptoms are there, but you start seeing something very different. So complex PTSD, as the word said, complex, is more complicated, and therefore harder to treat. And also the causal factors are a little bit are the same, but somebody has been exposed a little bit differently. So mainly the big difference between the two is that one, complex PTSD, the person has been exposed to traumatizing events repeatedly, multiple times. Mm-hmm. Or one stressor for a very long time. So say for example, for a road accident, maybe multiple road accidents, or a road accident and a rape, or a rape and kidnapping. You see? So that's multiple, maybe 2 or more exposure to different all these. Or it could be say child abuse. See, because when you talk about traumatizing events, they don't need to be this big, dramatic, natural one. They can also be problematic interpersonal relationship, like for example, abuse, physical abuse, neglect, abandonment, rejection, assault. And this is why I think for parents it's very good, it's very, very important to make sure that whatever differences you are having, children are left out of it. Although it's very difficult if you are living in one house together with the children, because it really fundamentally affects children, not only in the short term, but also in the long term. All right? So that's another indicator for complex PTSD. If it affects, the person is affected when they are very young, in childhood. If they are assaulted, they are abused when they are young. It's not like when somebody is assaulted with an adult. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the younger the person, the more likely the person is likely to
be affected,
get complex PTSD. Okay. You see, so in a relationship where there is a lot of fight and a lot of disagreement and loud talking and all those kind of things, abuse is very, very important to save the children. Mm-hmm. So either by patience or taking that to a counselor, or I don't know, separation for the sake of the children, because you as an adult can survive that, you can bear that, but these children are being affected in a very, very severe way, because their brains are still growing, their bodies are still growing, and they are taking in all the negativity, and that is going to live with them for a very long time. Wow.
I hope parents are watching this or get to watch this, because it's very important to protect the innocent children. Yeah. Now, could you please tell us how readily available is treatment for ordinary Kenyans?
Okay, so let me mention a few things about complex PTSD, like how to be recognized. Some of the symptoms are the big names here: depersonalization, derealization, and fugue, dissociation. So let me just say this in the simple language. Depersonalization is where the person looks at the world and feels that it's like they are not there. It's like they're observing this from a distance. This is not happening to me. You see, our way of protecting ourselves when we undergo these stressful incidences, especially if they are repeated, God has given us a mechanism where we can switch off, just like electricity, these gadgets here. If there's a big surge of electric power, there'll be a circuit breaker, right? So it's like a circuit breaker for us. We distance. Yes, it's happening to me, but I'm able mentally to distance myself so that I don't feel the brand of pain and all that. That is called, we dissociate ourselves. So it's called dissociation.
Is it sort of a self-denial?
It's not willful. It's not. You don't say now I am going to deny it is not happening. No. It's automatic. It's automatic. So even subconscious. because that's how we are. It's something inbuilt in us that kicks in when we automatically kicks in when we have. So it's not is more deeper than self-denial. So we dissociate ourselves emotionally. So a child is being beaten all the time. The child is being abused in all manner of ways for a very long time. The child learns to dissociate. The child is there, but the child is just very quiet, taking it all in, and it's like it's happening to somebody else, it's not them. So this person will be somebody with dissociation, complex PTSD, will be in a situation, and it's like they are not there. It's like their body is just there, and you know the way you are watching a very nice thing in your gadget or on TV, and wow, a lot of time has passed, I didn't know that. That's a kind of dissociation, you know. Or you have heard people saying, oh, I went to this place and I got lost. Very familiar place I've been, and it's like I was not able to know for some minutes there where I was. That's dissociation. Yeah, it's like it's not like you. All right. Then there's derealization. The reality looks very different from the way it used to look for you. Okay. You're in this particular environment or these people, and you are not able to recognize them. You don't remember seeing them or being in this place before and all that kind of a thing. Because the person again is not there. He's not able to connect with. You live in Kayole or you live in Syokimau, and you turn around there, corner there, and you don't know where you are. And you may find yourself somewhere where you are not able to tell where you are for some time, until you wake up and say, oh, so I'm here. So you start going back to where you are. You are kind of lost. That's complex PTSD. Okay. Then there's fugue. Fugue. Somebody gets lost. I've had instances with 2 kids where the kid left school. She doesn't. The last thing the kid is able to remember was that we went and ate a supper. We went for preps. Okay. And that's all I can remember. And the person is saying that a day or 2 after being found far away from. Okay? Like this kid had gone for about 12 kilometers away from school. It was at night, and this kid is being found a day after, kitu kama saa 12.
On foot?
On foot, you know, and didn't know where she was or how she left school.
That's very risky.
Yes. So when the person kind of all of a sudden comes to realize themselves, they say, wow, how did I end up here? It's like what you hear people saying when they are in a serious accident. I was in Naivasha driving. I saw this lorry coming, and a week after, when the person gets out of coma, they say, "Oh, how did I come here?" It's something like that. So the person is this kid was not able to tell how she covered all those kilometers. The person was, was covered with dust, one shoe, tattered clothes. And you can see this person, and the person was passing through the bush, and sometimes also on the road, and they have not been hit by a vehicle, or hit a tree, or gotten into a ditch. It's like they are alert somehow, but they are not alert. They don't know where they are. So that's fugue, dissociative fugue. These are some of those, and this is very difficult to treat. You need somebody who is very experienced and very nice intervention modalities. Talking about healing, treatment, right? You asked what are those?
Yeah. How readily available are they for ordinary Kenyans?
So remember we said that the 2 modalities that are available is psychotherapy, counseling, and medication. And I said that usually, even for depression and other mental health problems, where drugs are necessary and where therapy is necessary, the best is when you combine the 2. Now, availability, that's a big problem because we don't have a lot of health or mental health professionals in the country. Okay? People like counselors, really trained professional counselors, well-trained professional counselors in trauma, because trauma is a specific thing. You see, counselors go to the university. They are taught basic counseling skills like listening, questioning, and all these other things, assessment and diagnosis. But it's for the counselor themselves to learn more about different mental health problems, like depression, like obsessive compulsive disorder, or generalized anxiety, or PTSD, and other mental health. So you find that yes, there are counselors there, but they are after their training, they may be specialized in depression, or they specialize in children issues or family issues. So very few trauma trained counselors in the country. So that's a very big problem. So you find that people are there, they need help, but counselors are not very many, especially when you get out of the city of Nairobi and go out there in the rural areas. Very few counselors, like in Kitui now, we are very few. We are very few, and many people don't know us. That's why I'm this crusade. So and this is why I thank Capuchin TV.
What's the best intervention? What would you tell someone who's watching and they feel that the symptoms point towards PTSD?
Yes.
What's their hope?
It is counseling. If they find that these things that we are talking about here, they see this strange behavior with their loved ones, so let them go to a counselor. Well, usually they go to the hospital. Good. The doctors may be able to refer them to a counselor. In the hospitals, we also have counselors, general counselors most of the time. They can do something there. And because they network, they may be able to refer them to a good counselor. Or a psychotherapist. In this mental health professionals, we have counselors, we have psychologists, we have psychiatrists. And this can do a very good job. Then, of course, there are these mental referral hospitals. Okay, there they can go and get, if somebody is having very serious anxiety, or they're not sleeping well, they're having depressive symptoms, they can be helped. See, but drugs are not a permanent solution. That needs to be coupled with therapy or counseling.
All right, time is against us, but we'll create more time to talk on complex PTSD, because I can see it's a really broad subject that really needs to make a lot of shed more light and enlighten people more about it.
Sure.
All right. Now, maybe briefly in a few seconds, can you please mention to us, tell us as a religious leaders, what role does the church play in alleviating the effects of PTSD?
Okay. So, although a lot of church personnel, they are not trained in this, but the things that we do, they can really help, because one of the major things we see with PTSD is anxiety. The other one is depression. And therefore, when a pastor or a priest or a religious leader like the imam, you see, when people have this funny, when the funny experiences like this, I'm seeing this animal chasing me, I'm seeing this snake, I'm being choked at night, I'm seeing these flashbacks. One of the first places people go to their religious leader for prayer. That's very important. Listen to them. When somebody comes, don't laugh at them, tell them, oh, it's in your head, or go away, you're getting mad, or stuff like that. No, sit down with them, accept them, listen to them, affirm them, empathize with them. That helps. Give them a word of hope that with God nothing is impossible. And like for us Catholics, confession is a very, very wonderful thing. You are able to listen to the person, and because one of the things with the PTSD is that the person is suicidal. You remember we said that. So suicide is one of the symptoms there when it comes to changed mood. So the person is suicidal or has tried suicide. So when you meet those kind of people, you need to understand them. And when you preach hope for depression, that's very good news. When the church brings, small Christian communities, or brings people in the church as a community, so that there's like a family, small fundraiser, or prayer session, or Bible study, and people are able to mix and be a community, that's very helpful, because it helps people with issues to feel at home, accepted, and not alone.
Thank you so much, Father.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I thank Capuchin TV for giving me this opportunity to make our people understand that mental health is a problem, it's out there, and needs to be addressed.
And thank you too for creating time every week to enlighten people on this important subject in our society. And we hope to continue with this form of evangelization by bringing out or putting knowledge outside there so that our people can make informed decisions.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
All right. Now, Josephine Mutiso following. Thank you, Josephine, for following. We are winding up. And Bernard Kalasa watching from Mali. Thank you, Bernard. And of course, we will keep on bringing this kind of conversation as it is our norm. We really care about your general well-being as our viewer, as a Kenyan, and as our audience generally are drawn all across the country and across the globe. And this has been PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We will keep bringing you these candid conversations to enlighten you more on this so that you can be alert. If you have anyone who presents the symptoms that were mentioned by Father Francis before, you can just inbox us or find help wherever you can. If you cannot, you can always communicate to us and we will try to find help for you or your loved ones. At this point, I'd like to wrap it up and give way for other programs on the lineup. And before, as it is the norm, I cannot sign off without crediting the team that's been working behind the scene. Our camera persons have been Evans Havana and Benedetta Ngendo. On the other side of the gallery, we have our sound operator Eric Otieno. We also have our visual mixers have been Mumbi Edna and Vincent Kariuki. And that's it. As usual, we have Peter Mwangi in the other side of transmission. Thank you so much for being with us. See you next time. My name is Sasha Elizabeth. Goodbye.